Hello, and welcome back to another special episode of Bad Flashes. Why is it special, you may ask? Because you get to see my smiling face. And we're going to be doing some more photography stuff. That's always special. But we're going to actually be talking about color filters for black and white photography. Fancy that? Let's get into the mood here. There we go. No, that's what I'm talking about. But don't worry, I'm not going to go 4-3 for this particular episode. Looking at you, Snyder. Justice League. Well, grab yourself a popcorn, put some butter on it. Let's go. Do you know the butter trick with you put there's straw and put the butter thing, you can put it in and get it all inside there. You know that one? Look it up. So, for my birthday a few months back, I decided to wake up early and go to an estate sale. How early, you might ask? 6 a.m. Yeah, I don't encourage that behavior, but in this case, I was going down south to look at a few cameras. And while I was there, I was able to pick up a few good things. I found this Zeiss icon there. As you know, I love Zeiss. They're great people, and I've worked with them before. An old Russian Kiev rangefinder, and Hymatic 7S. I think this is broken, though. I should have looked into it before, I bought it. But I got some of the best deals on black and white filters. I got a red filter, a green filter, a yellow filter, and a purple filter. You know I love purple. Maybe I should put that on Lomo purple. The best part is I've always wanted to try black and white filters. So when Jason called me up one day and said, let's ride or die, baby, thought this was the perfect opportunity to screw those filters. I mean, screw on those filters. Screw on the filters. Thread the filters onto the front of the camera. So I packed my new lady of the night, the Mamiya 7, and some step-up rings, and loosely pocketed those color filters. I decided to go with the red and the green filter for this journey, mostly because those two filters do the opposite, and I wanted to see how they operated. The yellow filter was just way too close to the red filter, so I didn't think it was necessary. So Jason decided to take me on a little trip to Mormon rocks. No, we didn't go to church, it was just a bunch of big rocks in the desert, kind of like what we usually do, desert rocks. But there was a train this time. I almost jumped on that train too, me and my Mamiya. On the road. No cares, no worries, just wind in our hair. Other than, how do I pay for all the film and my topo addiction? But before we go any further, I do have to confess something. This won't be the most scientific test. My college-educated ass didn't bother taking notes on which filter I was using, so sorry? We're all just gonna have to play a guessing game of which filter I used. But to be honest, I didn't really use the green filter all that much because, well, there wasn't a lot of green around, so I didn't think it was gonna make a difference. And calculating the stop difference between the red and the green filter and no filter at all was a giant pain in the ass. And to be honest, I didn't want to do it. I kind of wanted to be more in the moment for this one. I mean, come on, can you blame me with a sexy slab of a camera right in front of me the entire time? I mean, come on, look at the back of that thing. One thing that the red filter does is takes that red color spectrum and brightens it to a lighter gray. Once you kind of get away from that light spectrum and more into the greens and the blues, it becomes darker. So you'll see a lot of the skies go darker. The greens go darker. So green being the complementary color to red, that green filter just inverts what the red does. So the red color spectrum for the green filter will actually go darker, and the green values in that color spectrum will be brighter. So if you take a photo of a leaf, then you'll have a brighter image than without a filter. Now, if you're gonna take a photo of, let's say, blood, it will go dark. And you might think that blood was from an alien, which could be, because we don't actually know if aliens exist. So we should figure that out too while we're at it. When using a red filter, you're gonna be losing 3 stops of light. So add 3 stops-ish. Because in my finding, and Mr. Grainy Days, it's not necessarily 3 stops. It can be a little bit more or a little bit less, kind of depending on your images. There was an image that I took of greenery, and that was really underexposed. But on some images, I maybe even go to 4. You really just have to plan on what aspects of the image you want to stay exposed properly. On Hoya's website, if you're going to use a green filter, they say that you need to compensate for 2 stops of light loss. Now, researching my specific green filter, which is a Mamiya filter, M-I-I-D-A, I don't know. It's an X1 green filter. It didn't actually need any compensation for light loss. So I shot it with maybe 1 more stop of light. That was the pain, going from box speed to 1 more stop of light versus 3 more stops of light. It also depends on the strength. That's a red filter, bro.
Tired of your
I think some of my favorite photos are the ones where there's a very strong light hitting the rocks and then the rest kind of goes dark. I think that's when those effects really stand out. Some of the worst ones are probably just a sea of green and yellows just going dark. Filters are tricky sometimes. Filters can get tricky when you're trying to like not be very specific. When you're like going out and you're like, I'm just gonna take photos, here's a red filter on there. You know, you gotta really kind of like think about what you're doing, in my opinion, with that. This is just spitball. I'm just spitballing with you guys, you know what I mean? Be specific with the filters that you use. That's the lesson that we're learning today, that we're all learning together, me and you, in this moment. Photography hack time. I know you know this, most likely, so just say, duh, Caleb, really loud if you do, but if you buy a filter, just buy the biggest filter available so you can put it on all your cameras. This fits on like all of my lenses. Overall, I think I gravitated to the red filter more so than the green filter, just because it has a cooler and more dramatic effect. I love when those skies just go dark. The green filter just seems so basic, the lack of any function. I mean, I guess unless you're taking crime scene photos of Kermit the Frog, then maybe. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever used these filters and which ones you prefer. Well, I guess the episode is coming to a close, so let's flip this back. Did it work? No. How am I gonna get this thing back to color? I guess the artist won an Emmy, so maybe I could win a Webby, right? That's a good look at it. Well, yeah, okay. Well, join me next time to see if I can fix whatever I did here. Okay. Bye!